And what PCA will do is transform dataset coordinate system in a way that this new coordinate system is optimal for representing data variability. So let's again take an example of this dataset. And what PCA will do is first center the data and then transform this centered data in order to find these P artificial features that are not correlated to each other. And these are uncorrelated artificial features are actually called principal components. And in this new coordinate system, so this is the PCA result, distances between data points will remain the same. We will preserve our variability, we will preserve our patterns, and features are not correlated. And the principal components will represent separate sources of variation. So what we will achieve is break down all this variation in this data into separate components. And PCA will not stop there. PCA will provide us a few additional pieces of information. So it will basically quantify all of these artificial features. It will give us information on which percent of variance in this dataset comes from each of these components. And furthermore, these features, these principal components, will be ordered based on this percent of variation they explain. And we can use this property in order to perform dimensionality reduction, which is one of the main traits of the principal component analysis. So we could take a look at this transformed data, and by looking at this number, we can see that this principal component 1 describes 99.86% of variance, while this principal component 2 explains only 0.14%. So we could say, okay, this is a lot, this is negligible. We could go on and remove this completely, remove this axis, and only preserve the information along this principal component 1 axis. And again, we would be able to cluster our data without a problem. We could achieve separation between groups by using only one of these artificial features. And by reducing dimensionality of dataset from 2 to 1, we achieve something that is called dimensionality reduction. And you might wonder, why is this useful? So if we reduce dimensionality and lose little to no information in the process, our dataset will become smaller, which will reduce the runtime of other algorithms. So if other algorithms in a pipeline that come after the PCA have to deal with less data, they will consume less memory and will take less time to execute. And there is another trait of the PCA, and if top 2 or 3 principal components contain significant portion of dataset variation, we could actually plot this data by using 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional plots and actually take a look at our high-dimensional data, which can be very useful. And what PCA will do is